Just earlier, the fans on their feet as the national anthem rang out throughout the arena. Thanks for joining us live for NBA basketball on 2K Sports. This is Kevin Harlan with Steve Kerr, Clark Kellogg, and Doris Burke. And now a quick check of our starting lineups for both teams. First, for the Bucks, Brandon Knight is out there with Mayo. And inside, a kinetic shot blocker rebounder out of Virginia Commonwealth, Harry Sanders. Then there's Carlos Delfino, and it's Ilyasova in at the 4. And for Los Angeles, CP3 at point with Redick there at the backcourt. And inside at center, a long 6'11", the skyscraping big man out of Texas A&M, DeAndre Jordan. Then there's Jared Dudley, and it's Griffin in at the power forward position.
One of the things that really jumps out at you about the Clippers is their depth. Really impressive. I mean, they've surrounded their stars with a bench that includes Jamal Crawford, who was second in the voting for Sixth Man of the Year. They've got a nice second unit.
Tip-off goes to the Clippers. Now Paul. The pass to Dudley. Back to Paul. It's a nice passing here by Los Angeles. And Redick kicks to Paul. Pass to Griffin. Working on Ilyasova. There's the feed to Dudley. And the three ball is good. And we talk about the bench for the Clippers last season. Also guys like Matt Barnes and Lamar Odom. Steve, some good defensive tenacity there, too.
Yeah, they had an edge. You know, Barnes really gave them some toughness and some grit. I thought Crawford's shooting gave them some balance where they had a good offense to go with good defense. And then Bledsoe slashing. They were a lot of fun to watch, that bench unit.
Ball outside. Feeds it to Griffin. And he throws it down hard with one hand.
Right back to the basics there, using the one-hand slam for that one.
Doesn't he make the basics look pretty exceptional?
Yeah, he does. They look sweet when he does them.
Well, he should stay with those basics in a tight ball game because we've got one here tonight.
Delfino dishes to Ilyasova. The shot is off. The Clippers go the other way with it.
And, you know, out of Turkey, Ersan Ilyasova, an interesting combination of talents. I mean, he's one of the more intriguing guys in the league when you watch him closely. He's not the biggest or the burliest, but he's got a toughness about him that shows itself on the offensive glass. He's also a really good outside shooter, able to play that spread four role.
And so just over a minute and a half played. Now let's send it down to Doris Burke, who is able to catch up with Coach Doc Rivers.
Yes, Kevin, he's certainly mindful of the shot-blocking presence they'll run up against inside, but he doesn't want them shying away offensively. If anything, he said, we've got to be aggressive, but also patient. If we can be deceptive in the way we attack, and there are ways to do that, we can be successful inside. Guys, let's see how successful they can be.
Thanks for that report, Doris. Guys, do you think we'll see game planning early on that might end up developing through the game as, you know, as far as getting through this very tough defense?
I think there's almost no question that what they're doing offensively at the beginning of the game will change several times before we're finished.
Well, that's what the defense they're facing forces you to do. You have to be ready to adjust and make some changes. It's too complex a defensive scheme to just attack it one set way.
And Clark, you mentioned Ilyasova. He had that breakthrough season in 2011 and 12, and after the early slump continued to deliver, Steve, last year.
Well, he's a great combination of being an outside shooter but having interior toughness. And I think he defines kind of the modern-day hybrid four. He's a power forward who can guard multiple positions on the perimeter.
Now, here is Knight, and Chris Paul picks up the foul. That is his first foul of the game. If you're just tuning in, we've played about 2.5 minutes here in the first. Knocks it loose.
Great reflexes to get a hand on that pass and go the other way with it.
Foul call. Looked like the D didn't get there in time, and he'll shoot free throws.
Well, in the last few years, it's been debated between Paul, Williams, and Rose as to who the best point guard in the league is. I think I would have to put Steph Curry in that conversation now. But I would lean towards Paul's dominance and ability to turn around the Clippers as putting him just a notch ahead of the other guys on the list.
Griffin with the steal. And here we go. Paul heading to the hoop. And finished off by Griffin.
Tell you what, he's going to put that one in his scrapbook. Absolutely insane with that dunk.
Well, now they're starting to rub it in, aren't they? Have build up a lead, and here we go, folks. It's showtime.
And why not? I mean, the more plays they make like that, the more they'll have these guys on the ropes.
Here's Mayo after the basket by Los Angeles. Passes it to Ilyasova. Knight kicks it to Delfino. And the shot is long. And Clark, last season's survey of league GMs agree. Chris Paul voted the top point guard in the NBA. I don't have a problem with that, Steve. Do you?
That's either him or Tony Parker, but I can go either direction there. But what you love about Paul is that he does everything. He defends, he scores, passes. He kind of just figures out what's needed during the game, and then he delivers for his team.
Here's what Milwaukee's going with right now. Pachulia, he's checked in for Sanders. John Henson comes in for Ilyasova. And Gary Neal subbed in for O.J. Mayo. Now here's Paul. After the miss from Neal. Pass to Crawford. He dishes it to Dudley. And again, the Clippers good for two.
I couldn't have dreamt of a much better start than what they've had here today.
Everything's worked, especially offensively, and what a lead they have already to show for us. A big problem for the Bucks last season was closing out games in the fourth quarter. You know, too often they would see their defense fall to the wayside as soon as the game started heading down the stretch. And as a result, they lost a lot of close ones.
Here's Pachulia, defended by Mullins. And that's out of bounds. Milwaukee will retain possession. On defense, the Clippers. And Barnes comes to help. And stolen by Barnes. Now the Clippers moving it up. Here's Paul. Hammers it home to polish off the break. And guys, what do you think about the hustle stance for the Clippers?
They've come out in attack mode defensively, applying pressure and stealing the ball repeatedly.
You know, another factor in their offense so far has been their ability to convert and score off turnovers.
Delfino, good. Well, Clark, you brought it up. The Bucks defense would be solid for 3/4 of the game, but would just not look like they were supposed to be in the fourth quarter at all. Not sure, Steve, if it was fatigue or something else that got to it.
I thought one of the keys was they didn't have great perimeter defense, and so even though they were a good shot blocking team, they were constantly having to cover up on penetration. And so even though you might get some shot blocks, you're also going to give up layups and offensive rebounds. That was a major problem for the Bucks last year. Yeah, not just an everyday finish. He put a little pizzazz on that one, guys.
Barnes kicks to Paul. The three-pointer off the mark. Bucks trail by 10. Poked away. Dudley the pass to Barnes. There's the killer two-handed slam.
They keep going down low with the ball, and it results in points. They're having their way in the paint.
And it's resulted in a big early lead, too.
Dishes it to Neal. Good. The assist goes to Rittenhouse.
Boy, he made a nice little bounce pass there. We call that the pocket pass, and he did it well.
Domination in the first quarter. It's been pretty lopsided. Los Angeles on top, leading by 10. And we'll get the second quarter underway on the other side of this break. Welcome back, everyone. A lopsided first quarter in the books already as we start the second quarter. And before we move on, what do you guys think about what we've seen so far from the Clippers?
And that first quarter was all about pace, guys, because this club really got out into transition, and that's how they've built this lead.
They like to play fast, and they're doing a nice job filling the lane.
Bucks trail by 10. Delfino dishes to Henson. Ridnour kicks to Delfino. And lots of contact there. Missing the shot. He'll shoot 2.
Well, Delfino's a good player, Kevin. He's not somebody you think of when you think, oh, you know, can he take over a game? But he's pretty explosive offensively. And he's a guy who, if you fall asleep on him, he's going to score. He'll find some shots from deep and also driving to the basket.
Right, from deep, and from deep on the baseline, too. You put him down in the corner, and he just doesn't miss.
Boy, you look at the Clippers, and they clearly are one of the most entertaining teams in the NBA. One of the outstanding team shows you'll see. They have fun, they're up and down. But they're a hard-working group, and a lot of that you have to attribute to their leader, Chris Paul.
He feeds it to Ridnour. He kicks to Delfino. The dish to Neal. 6 on the shot clock. And there's the pass to Delfino. From the arc. Can't get it to go. So Los Angeles will take it the other way. They've held a 12-point lead early. Well, Clark, as you were taking a look at the Clippers, they are a fun team, an amazing product so far with big names all around. But, you know, Steve, they've got to work hand in hand to make sure they're always at their best and not take things for granted.
Well, I think it's still a team that's a work in progress. You've got a young front line in Griffin and DeAndre Jordan, great point guard in Paul, but the new additions have helped, and I think it'll be interesting to see if this team can gel during the playoffs.
And let's now go to the sideline. We'll catch up here with Doris Burke. Doris?
Hey, Kevin. Well, for the Los Angeles Clippers, the pieces seem to be coming together for a deep run. It all started with the acquisition of Coach Doc Rivers, who was also given a lead role in basketball decision-making. Follow that up with the trade for J.J. Redick and Jared Dudley. That gives the team great shooting on the wings. And both players expressed their excitement to play for the Clips. Guys, this once downtrodden franchise has become a destination.
Winning situation, Doris. Thanks. The Bucks making a switch here. Sanders is checked in. So timeout called here. The first for Los Angeles. And it's a completely new group for Los Angeles. Los Angeles leading by 11. Paul passes to Griffin. And a great assist by Paul as that one goes in. Paul's got 3 assists now in this one. Well, the Bucks shooting about 42% so far.
Well, when you talk about the most fearsome finishers in the league, you got to put Blake Griffin right at the top of the list. I mean, he's a high riser, and he's able to dunk with authority over the top of defenders like very few in the league can. A beautiful feed by Ridnour.
And the slam by Blake Griffin.
Maybe could have tried for a more memorable dunk than that.
And we know he's capable of those memorable dunks.
But, you know, they've got a nice lead. Don't take any chances. The simple one-hander is just fine.
Here's Delfino. That drops. Delfino's got 8. And with Griffin, the dunks always get top billing, but he is more than just a dunker, or at least would hope to be more than just a dunker.
Well, he's a rebounder and an underrated passer for a big man. His touch outside is improving as well, so this is what you want to see from Griffin. Just incremental improvement each year.
For Los Angeles, they've gone 3 of their first 5 shots to drop here in the second quarter. We're just over 2.5 minutes into the second quarter. Out of bounds, Milwaukee takes possession.
Just got a little careless on that pass. They should be able to connect on those.
Pachulia, he's checked in for Milwaukee. Bucks trail by 11.
You know, when you're in the East, you don't have to necessarily be an above 500 team on the road, but you got to be close to 500. And the Bucks were a solid team on the road, and that's why they made the playoffs.
Gets it to go.
They can't afford to give him that kind of look.
Well, it came off a good screen, but still, as a defender, you got to fight over the top of that. Taking it to the rack with power right there.
And hammering down with the two-handed slam.
Well, they already had him staggered, and now all of a sudden they're throwing some haymakers.
And Clark, you talk about the Bucks. They went 17-24 on the road last season. That might not be the most impressive mark, but it was still 7th best in the conference in terms of road wins.
Well, the East was pretty weak. We know that. And the Bucks making the playoffs at all was the perfect example of how weak the East was. But look, they can get better. They've got some young talent. They've got some things to be excited about. And one is the play of John Henson, second-year man from North Carolina.
Here's Ridnour after the made shot from Redding. Ridnour kicks to Neal. It's hauled in by Los Angeles.
Boy, there was no hand in his face right there. I thought for sure he was going to knock that down.
Oh, and they get in the way of the alley-oop. Not to be. Good play defensively. That's good. And it's Ridnour picking up the assist. Neal's got 6 here in this quarter.
The defense left him just a little window to get through, and he just ducked in for the layup. Terrific job.
Paul with the bucket.
I like the offensive awareness to exploit that lack of coverage on that play.
Bucks trail by 14. There's 47 seconds left to play here in the second quarter. Knocked loose. Inside. Here's Delfino. 8 points for him. And he banks in the layup. Neal's got 10 points in the game.
His shooting has been so good today. He may have to take it upon himself to try to get his club out of this hole.
Rejected by Redding. Sanders against Griffin. Paul gets it to go. He's got 14.
They have repeatedly probed inside in the first half, guys, and it's paid dividends.
Yeah, it sure has, Clark. I mean, with as many points as they've gotten in the paint, they really haven't had to do much on the perimeter.
And taken away by Paul. From deep three-point range. No good trying to beat the buzzer. And so we wrap up the first half. Clippers lead by 14. We'll get right back to the action when we return.
Now, presented by Sprint.
Happy Tuesday to all of you from us at 2K Sports. I'm Damon Bruce.